What's going on YouTube? JT Userborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Batman issue number 122, Shadow War Part 2. So this is the second part of the Shadow War event, which was previously, part 1 was in the Shadow War Alpha comic book, which I reviewed last week, so you can check out that video on the channel. This one is once again written by Joshua Williamson. The artwork this time is done by Howard Porter, who's kind of like the main artist on the Deathstroke Incorporated book that Williamson writes. And yeah, we're in part 2 of Shadow War. I think next week we're going to get part 3 with Deathstroke Incorporated. So whatever the next issue of that is the continuation of this particular story. But a lot of stuff, moving pieces are going around with this particular story. For instance, like I said, there's also teases of the death of Justice League, also written by Joshua Williamson. We see a mysterious unknown figure talking about how you will not be forgotten. I promise you, the people responsible must pay. So it's probably the person who is pretending to be Deathstroke, trying to start a war between Talia and Deathstroke Incorporated. Batman's doing his investigating, trying to figure out how the hell this Deathstroke imposter was able to kind of get infiltrated within the city without him seeing it. But it's just too bad he missed a giant, even with all his satellites, then he missed a giant freaking hole in the middle of the ground here. Like, how he didn't notice this is beyond me. But so he kind of does this thing. Then also, like, Talia's like shadows are going up against Deathstroke's opponents, and they're Deathstroke and Respawn are kind of just outnumbered, so they inevitably have to flee. This is also we get kind of a first glimpse at a new character known as Angel Breaker. I'm sure we'll find out more about her as the storyline goes on, but she's got kind of like this like flaming sword, and she has cleavage, so that's what you need to know with her outfit there. That's kind of an interesting choice, but she seems pretty intense and deadly, so we'll see what they do with her. But yeah, like I said, and then Respawn's Slade escape. Then we also see Rose, who's getting drunk at a bar. As you can see, Slade is now like the most wanted criminal in the world after killing Ra's al Ghul himself. There's kind of a funny moment where Damian they're like, we're not going to let you into this bar, kid, and he just beats the hell out of a bunch of people. And then before I can really kind of say much, Rose is like, save Robin, let's go kill my dad, because obviously Slade just kind of chucked her out a window. Or no, it was Respawn chucked her out a window, even though he kind of snapped it a bit. Then the last moving piece of the story, like I said, we got kind of 3 fronts with this storyline. We have Damian and Rose, we have Respawn and Slade, and then we have Batman and now Talia. So he goes to the Demon Palace, takes down a bunch of ninjas, confronts Talia, is like, why did you hire Deathstroke to do all this stuff? And she's like, I'm mourning, I'm not responsible for all this stuff. And there's some tension there between the two of them, but Talia's hurt. Batman goes to kind of help her. And like I said, this is the first time in, good God, I don't know how long, probably since before the New 52, that there's kind of like a compassionate side between the two of them, like a tender moment in the main continuity, not counting things like outside that. But Talia's hurt because obviously she doesn't trust the Lazarus Pits anymore, and Batman's trying to be like, why aren't you trusting the Lazarus Pits anymore? But she's just like, why do you care? He's like, I never wanted to see you hurt. And she's like, well, you're the only one I would allow to see it, because she's obviously, we've seen Talia in other issues where she's trying to hide the pain, and she can't let herself be vulnerable around anyone else except for Batman. And she calls him beloved. Like I said, this is kind of a little bit abrupt given like years and years of stuff, but I guess they wanted to kind of get to this moment because like there's a lot of shit going on. So he talks to her, and then she tells him to shut up, and then they share a kiss, which is something different. Yes, I'm all for something different at this point. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I've complained about Selena and Batman under the writing of Tom King. Used to like them, but then like I grew to kind of dislike it. But in a way, it's like Batman's just been kind of stuck with Selena and like the main continuity, and it's just been a lot of bad writing for quite a while with those two as a couple, to the point where I just got like really sick and tired of it. I mean, to the point where I'm like, I just don't want to see those two in anything anymore, unless some other writer comes along and does something really well with it. I'm just kind of over it at this point. Like, finally, something a little bit different with Batman. And plus, Talia is a character who, I mean, if you read the comics, like compared to where she used to be to where she is like for like several years now, has been in kind of a really bad place. Like, the character definitely suffered quite a bit at the hands of several writers who just kind of like took away like like that nuance with her, like made her really just kind of a one-note, like psychotic villain in a lot of ways. And Talia's never really been that way. Like, yes, she's like the thing with her and Bruce, it's basically Romeo and Juliet. Talia is somebody who's very smart, but she also like loves her father, like deep down. And there's Batman won't work with like a criminal. Like the two of them like kind of are made for each other, but there's still kind of that like Romeo and Juliet element to where like they can't fully be together in that regards. But now that her father's gone, and they've been trying to rework her character a bit to kind of get back to like Talia of old, kind of a little bit of a hybrid. It's been kind of set up for a bit, so I'm all for fixing her character compared to where it's been like the past several years where it's just been one note psycho bitch. So like this is good stuff right here, and they're kind of getting back to where things used to be with these two, which is what made it interesting. And then yeah, so I'm all for that. Fix her character, have nice tender moments. And like I said, we never really got to see like Damian's parents really kind of get along for a while, so this could be interesting. Then in the backup storyline, also written by Joshua Williamson, art by Trevor, what does that say? Trevor Hairstein. It's basically like the first confrontation between Batman and Deathstroke. As you can see, it's a lot younger right there. And then you have Dick Grayson's Robin. Slade tries to shoot him, and then Batman confronts him. And then we're led to believe like the Joker is in some way kind of behind it. Maybe he brainwashed Slade or something like that. I don't know. I don't really understand what the point of the backup storyline is. I don't think we really needed one. We could have utilized these pages for something else. But since Williamson is writing it, I'm sure it's going to in some way kind of tie into the story. Kind of like how in the Robin book you have Damian's manga that he likes to read, and how that kind of like reflects what's going on in his life. So yeah, you got that going on here. But in terms of Shadow War Part 2, I still like the first issue a little bit more, because like I said, that's the big exciting hook. Now this is kind of all the different various moving pieces kind of coming together, and the characters are going to kind of go off and eventually kind of converge into some like grand epic finale. So like everyone's just kind of wondering like what's really going on here. Who's framing Slade? Was Talia behind it? Is Raj behind it? Batman has to confront her, and then you get kind of a bit of a reconciliation moment between the two characters, which is the highlight of it. And then you have Damian gonna go team up with Rose, Wilson Ravager. Those two work really well together, I will say that. Like even like in the Robin book, like I like seeing those two kind of like get along and work together. So if you can have Damian and Rose teaming up, like I think those two play off each other so well, and it makes for some entertaining reads. So yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying Shadow War. Overall, I still like the first part a little bit more, but then again, it's a longer, more substantial issue, and that's kind of like all the action and like a lot of the epic moments there, and so on and so forth. So yeah, like I said, artwork this time around, like it's fine. It's not really my favorite particular style. I'm not like the biggest Howard Porter artist fan. Like I said, he's done some decent stuff with Deathstroke Incorporated. I just like, maybe it's just I like my artwork just to look a little bit more crisp and clean. I don't know how to necessarily describe it. It's not something I'm fully into per se. Like it still looks fine, but it's not like my ideal favorite Batman art. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think that's all I have to really say about this issue. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Like I said, there's some good character work kind of going on, sprinkled it. I like the different storylines that are kind of all going to go converge on their, like, go on their own separate paths and then eventually kind of converge together. There's an air of intrigue and mystery with what's truly going on in here. You get a lot of action in the issue. So I think Shadow War is getting off to a pretty good start, but I think the most important thing is the Batman and Talia moment at the very end, because like I said, those characters have been on bad terms for so long compared to where they used to be. Because like I said, Talia was like probably Bruce's biggest love interest for like a long period of time when Denny O'Neil was writing her back in the day. So to see that kind of reconciliation after kind of years of it just getting kind of shit on is really nice to see. So I'm all for that. Yes, it still requires a lot of work, but the fact that we actually got like a compassionate kind of tender moment between the two characters after so long is a good thing, is a very good thing. So I'm all for that. Fix that relationship, fix a lot of things. And I think Williamson's been doing a good job kind of working through a lot of the BS that's kind of gone on with these characters for so long. And Like I said, he was fixing Damian's character, he's fixing Talia's character, and he's kind of working to try and fix some relationships between the characters. So good for Williamson. Good for Williamson. All right, well, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you thought of the issue in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for more notifications. And I don't think there's any other new issues this week I was going to cover, so I might play catch up later on today for the issues I missed the past few weeks, like Task Force Z, Teen Titans Academy, and so on and so forth. But anyways, that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.